The invasion just met its match. While sanctuary city politicians scream about their precious criminal protections, President Trump just unleashed the full force of the federal law enforcement apparatus. 1,800 arrests and counting in Washington, D.C. alone, including 28 corrupt FBI agents caught in the net. Now the storm is heading to Chicago. ICE agents, backed by National Guard units, are preparing to sweep the Windy City clean. Mayor Brandon Johnson's having a meltdown. Governor Pritzker's threatening lawsuits. But here's what they don't understand. The American people voted for this. The cartels are about to learn what deportation force really means. And before we jump into today's news, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Hyperbit Technologies, trading under HYPAF on the U.S. market. As President Trump puts the spotlight on crypto and pushes forward policies to keep America ahead in the digital asset race, Hyperbit is charging ahead with next-generation crypto mining technology, expanding on their multi-million crypto treasury that already includes Bitcoin and Ethereum, and aiming to position itself to benefit from pro-innovation laws and executive orders. This is a complete diversified company that gives you one-stop exposure to the entire crypto sector without having to pick and choose individual projects. Honestly, I could talk about Hyperbit all day, but Trump's bold pro-crypto stance says it all. For everything you need to know, check out the link in the description down below, hyperbit.ca. So here is the front page of the Chicago Tribune today. Feds set for Blitz. Boom. And of course, they show some minorities looking scared on the cover in order to feed into the fear. This is what the Chicago Tribune front page says. Feds set for Blitz. Trump orders a massive federal surge into Chicago suburbs as city braces for immigration raids. Pritzker expects agents to assemble by the end of the week. Officers are staying at hotels in Gurney and Waukegan. Senator Durbin demanding hearings into Trump's incursions. The governor vowing no intervention, calling it a ploy to be used against the state in court. Front page, Chicago Tribune. It's coming, baby. It's coming. 4 hours ago, the Trump administration just extended the National Guard's D.C. orders until November 30th. This is more than just a show for President Trump. Trump wants long-term results for America's capital. Here we have this, townhall.com posting, J.B. Pritzker refusing to clean up crime in Chicago. He'd rather let his constituents be shot than accept help from Orange Man Bad. Let's listen to J.B., who obviously has presidential aspirations. This is moments ago in Berwyn, Illinois.
Sent to court. If National Guard or other military troops are deployed to the city of Chicago, immediately go to court. So that's going to be our first line of defense, is getting a court to issue a TRO or other injunction against that activity. Court.
Yeah, good luck with that, fat boy. All right, let's see what we have here. Pam Bondi announcing expansion of Joint Task Force Alpha. The task force will now cover our northern border and all of our maritime borders. They write, Secretary Noem and I are expanding this to include DEA, ATF, and FBI to give us even more manpower.
We are now expanding Joint Task Force Alpha. It has 5 steps. We will now cover, the task force will now cover our northern border in Canada, of course, and all of our maritime borders. Our incredible partner again at DHS, Kristi Noem, and I are expanding this to include our DEA, ATF, and FBI agents to this task force to give us even more manpower. We will receive more resources to prosecute these cases, and key figures in cartel, human trafficking, and transnational criminals. We will strengthen our collaboration with foreign law enforcement throughout this world to protect not only their citizens, but ours, and return these criminals to American soil for prosecution. We are now expanding.
Game on. Here is what the White House actually posted this. They posted this. Turn around. More would-be illegal aliens are getting the memo. The border is closed. Keep walking the other way. My goodness. The White House is memeing. U.S. Appeals Court blocking an activist judge order to close Alligator Alcatraz. Remember we told you they were going to shut it down? Well, looks like that judge's order has been overturned. A big win for America, big loss for activist judges. Now fill it to the brim with illegals, says Nick. 11th Circuit Court also blocked the activist judge from proceeding with the case until the appeal is resolved. Let's go. Washington, D.C., do you hear this? Suing Donald Trump for protecting the city with the National Guard. Here is the official court docket. Case 125CV03005, filed September 4th, 2025, in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. The plaintiff, the District of Columbia versus Donald Trump, the Department of Defense, Pete Hegseth, Daniel P. Driscoll, and the Department of Justice. Case number 125CV. DC is suing Trump now. Well, you know, it's all part of the home rule law, so good luck with your lawsuit. Okay, ICE agents are about to surge into Chicago and crack down on crime and illegals. Let's go. Fox is reporting.
Now, that city's Democratic... It's not just the National Guard. Multiple sources telling Fox News that ICE agents are set to move into Chicago for an immigration crackdown. Now, that city's Democratic leaders are expected to resist, but many locals, like our next guest, say it is a long time coming. But Sean Tunsil will join us in a moment, talk about the residents' sentiments in a moment there in Chicago. But first, to senior correspondent Mike Tobin, who's got a beat on this every day in Chicago. Mike.
And, Bill, we know that some federal staff is already at the Great Lakes Naval Base north of Chicago, and Illinois Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin are demanding that the Secretary of the Navy provide them with some information for how that base is going to be used. And then a meeting of North Suburban leaders was told that some 300 federal agents are expected in Chicagoland. Now, the mayor of Broadview, a suburb to the west of Chicago, issued a letter stating that a building there will be used as primary processing facility for operations, which could last for 45 days. And law enforcement should be ready for protests, even destruction of property. Tom Homan, border czar under President Trump, argues that sanctuary policies pushed by Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker forced them to zero in on places like Chicago.
We're going to flood the zone. Sanctuary cities, I've said it 1,000 times, they're going to get exactly what they don't want: more agents in the communities and more worksite enforcement. If they won't let us arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a county jail, so more collateral arrests are going to occur in sanctuary cities because you forced us into the community.
Chicago saw over 51,000 migrants arrive since the summer of 2022. The watchdog group Illinois Public Policy estimates the state will spend over $2.5 billion on migrants by the end of 2020.
Oh, looks like we are buffering. Oh. See if we can get that back.
Arrests are going to occur in sanctuary cities because you forced us into the community.
1 second, let me see if I can get
Chicago
that.
saw over 51,000 migrants arrive since the summer of 2022. The watchdog group Illinois Public Policy estimates the state will spend over $2.5 billion on migrants by the end of 2025. Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez, a Democrat, says Illinois leaders with sentiments for the migrant community are not sincere.
If we had addressed this by amending the Welcoming City Ordinance several months ago, we would not be in this position today, in my opinion. If we had shown a willingness to work with Donald Trump, Tom Homan, and Kristi Noem to say, look, we know you know where the high priority targets are. Let us help you when we arrest them. We'll let you know. I think we'd be in a very different spot than where we find ourselves today.
Now, September is a month when Mexican Independence Day is recognized with a series of parades through Hispanic areas. Now, the town of Waukegan has postponed their parade, but the Pilsen neighborhood to the south of where I am is continuing with their parade. However, they've got spotters in the crowd who will be equipped with cell phones, radios, even whistles to alert people of any developments. Bill?
All right. It's not just the national.
Oh, and folks, I am ready. When it goes down, we are going to go into the heart of the storm. And we're going to bring you that news when it happens. So buckle up, my friends. Buckle up. Let's keep going. We got some more news on this front. Okay. 5 hours ago, does anyone have a problem with Trump sending in the National Guard?
Left my man came in between the two of us, shoved us apart, and then hit me in the face.
That punch left Miles with several broken bones in her face, as well as a concussion. According to police, she was assaulted by 32-year-old William Livingston. A record search produced 13 mugshots of Livingston going back to 2012. A large number of those arrests for aggravated assault and battery of both women and police officers, something Miles found out after the fact.
Like, what is enough? You know, what does someone have to do where he's going to be, they're going to be held accountable?
According to online records, Livingston's history of random acts of violence against women goes back 8 years. In 2017, he was...
Crime is outrageous in Chicago. FBI Director Kash Patel posted this 9 hours ago. All federal partners are now at over 1,800 arrests under POTUS. President Trump's initiative to clean up Washington, D.C. Latest from FBI, September 3rd through the 4th, 28 arrests involving FBI personnel, 12 gun recoveries, 10 drug seizures, 80 individuals arrested by federal partners in total. Attorney General Brian Schwab, we are suing to block the unlawful deployment of the National Guard troops to D.C. Armed soldiers should not be policing American citizens on American soil. The forced military occupation of the District of Columbia violates our local autonomy and basic freedoms. It must end. Good luck, buddy. Now, a female officer quickly drawing her firearm on a male driver. Is this proper for police to prioritize their safety? Yes or no?
I call the supervisor here, please. What? I would like your supervisor.
No, you can talk to him afterwards.
Sir, I would like your supervisor.
Okay, we're going to talk to him afterwards.
Can you call him on your radio?
Huh?
Can you call him on your radio? He's not trying to call his supervisor on the radio. I'm a citizen too, bro. Okay. It's like, and you work for public and safety. You're doing your job. What's your cause of stopping me? Is what I want to know. You didn't even give me a cause. You said for your 10. I told you I got
that's
a ticket.
probable cause to pull you over, right?
Okay.
Just because you.
Whoa. That's way. Whoa. Are you serious?
Raise your fingers on the back of your head.
We've got code 3 cover coming.
Whoa.
Okay. Undo your seatbelt with your right hand.
Any weapons in the vehicle?
Wow. What else have we got going on here? Elise Stefanik posting, I stand strongly with law enforcement and correctional officers who risk their lives to keep us safe. The worst governor in America, Kathy Hochul, fights for criminals and convicts over our law enforcement.
Explains. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is calling for a federal investigation into the state after prison strikes earlier this year led to a slew of layoffs. Layoffs, she says, are in violation of federal law. 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning explains.
This letter from Congresswoman Elise Stefanik requests the U.S. Department of Labor review what she calls illegal actions by New York State. Illegal actions, she says, were made when corrections officers at prisons went on strike, citing unsafe work conditions, mandatory overtime, and a staffing crisis. The strikes began in mid-February and lasted through the beginning of March. The letter alleges the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, or DOCS, violated the Family and Medical Leave Act when it fired some employees who were on legitimate leave at the time of the strikes. Stefanik, who is likely running against Kathy Hochul for governor next year, writes, quote, by classifying DOCS employees on FMLA as AWOL, Governor Hochul and the DOCS commissioner caused families to lose access to health insurance, accrued overtime pay, sick leave, and unemployment benefits. The letter also accuses the state of having a no-call list, a list she says includes 200 people who the state has deemed ineligible for hire.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is calling for a federal investigation into the state.
And we have this from the White House, posted just a couple hours ago. Alligator Alcatraz, make America safe again. President Trump standing in front of a bunch of alligators with ice hats. The White House writes, open for business. Secretary Christie, no, Alligator Alcatraz will stay open, and so will our promise to remove every violent, criminal, illegal alien from our country. And now, as we reported yesterday, the Louisiana lockup is open for business as well. There is a montage of video from the Louisiana Department of Prisons, which has now opened up a dedicated wing for illegals. Let's see what else we've got going on. ICE agents are about to surge. Here is San Antonio. Texas women support ICE operations.
Ransacked. We have to clean up our country because it's been ransacked. It's been taken advantage of by other countries.
It's a divide in this southwest side neighborhood of Nogalitos.
See, I'm getting what I voted for. You know, you can't break the law and expect to get away with it.
We have to.
I'm getting what I voted for. Trump silences critics with the highest ever approval rating as he cracks down on crime. Daily Mail reporting. Stephen Miller weighing in on the criminals in Democrat-run cities.
The reason for the nonstop bloodshed streaming through the streets of Chicago, you saw the statistics, just over Labor Day weekend, another 54 people were shot in Chicago. 58 people, almost 60 people, just in one weekend. The reason for this is because the Democrat leaders, the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, the foolish governor of the state, Pritzker, as well as the senators of the state, Democrat leadership from top to bottom, refused to put the violent street criminals in jail. If you look at the rap sheets, what you will see is arrested and released, arrested and released, arrested and released. They are never kept in jail. So you have a small percentage of the population that are serial criminal killers, gangbangers, hoodlums, and drug dealers that are left to roam free and shoot and maim and rape and mug with impunity from the age of 14 all the way through the rest of their lives. That's the reason why. Here in Washington, D.C., where I'm talking to you from right now, in just 3 weeks, President Trump has turned the most dangerous city in America to the safest metropolis in the United States of America. And how did he do it? By surging in National Guard, by surging in FBI, ATF, DEA, and ICE, and making clear that if you commit a crime in this city, and especially if you commit a violent crime, we will find you, we will lock you up, and we won't stop coming at you until the people who live in this city are safe. President Trump did that, and now he's made this city into a safe zone for everyone. The reason for the
D.C. is now a safe zone. It's here. President Trump will immediately deploy a surge of federal resources to Chicago en masse to round up illegal aliens. The DHS has already requested support, as we showed you the memo last night. Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker are furious.
It's not just the National Guard. Multiple sources tell
Holman and Christy Nome.
We played that for you guys already. Let's check in with Bill O'Reilly. Stephen Smith goes off on politicians for failing to crack down on rampant crime in Chicago.
Let me talk to America right now in saying this, okay? The lone black man on this segment is me. I don't need any of Bill O'Reilly's statistics that he just spewed to know that he's right in terms of what has been transpiring throughout in the streets of Chicago. It has been going on for years. It was going on before Obama was in office. It was going on when he was in office. It's been going on since he's been in office. I recall seeing a black couple on national television asking for military assistance. That's how bad it has been in Chicago. And one administration after another has either been incapable or unwilling to do anything about it. It is shameful, and black folks in that city have been getting killed for years, and I'm disgusted at the level of ineffectiveness or unwillingness that they've executed in getting better things done and making it better for the law-abiding citizens in Chicago. Having said that, we got to pay attention to what Trump, we got to pay attention, hold on, Bill, we got to pay attention to this. When he went into L.A., that was a bit excessive. You got a bunch of people in L.A. that were talking about stuff was going on in a 2-block radius. It could have been handled by the local PD. In Washington, D.C., that is not a state. You understand? He has the right. It's run by the federal government. He has a right if he wants to send the National Guard, even though the National Guard isn't trained for that. And when you send in the Marines or the Army, they're trained to kill. They're not trained to police. So you got to send in the right people. I get that part. But I understand his intent when you're talking about what's transpired in Washington, D.C. Chicago may very well be unlawful, but with Pritzker, you're absolutely right. Yo, what are you going to do about it? It's one thing to say, Trump, don't send in the National Guard. It's another thing for the president to come out of his mouth, I'm here to help if they ask for it, and then for you to say no and then try to implement laws in place that would prohibit him from sending help. Wait a minute. When that happens, you can't point the finger at Bill O'Reilly. You can't point the finger at Chris Cuomo. You can't point the finger at people that are and just say, oh, it's really not politics. Who the hell are they? It's all about politics if you're a governor and you're going to take that position. So I have no problem with you at all, Bill, calling out the governor of Illinois the way that you have. Let me talk to America.
Wow, Stephen A. Smith, man, on fire. Check this out. I got this. This is the White House releasing the Chicago crime map, highlighting incidents from the last 2 weeks alone. Decline is a choice. Leaders in Democrat cities have been failing for decades. This is the graphic put out by the White House. Look at all those red dots. You can zoom in and you can see gun crimes highlighted by the guns inside the red circles. You could see like a person with a mask, a mugging perhaps. You can see the fist of a person. Maybe there was a fight or there was an assault. You can see, robbery, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, homicide. All of these crimes being highlighted by the White House. Here's a former acting ICE director talking about the nonsense and chaos at the border. It stopped.
But because the nonsense and the chaos at the border has stopped, thousands of children are not coming to the border all by themselves, whether they're trafficked or otherwise, right? Because we know many of them become victims. But because the border is in such good shape, because the message around the world is really hard to come in across the border. If you come across the border as a single adult, you will likely get encountered. You will most likely be prosecuted and put on a path for removal. And so that keeps people out of the pipeline, including children. It doesn't allow these cartels to make money hand over fist and make victims out of these children. And so many of them have been found. And our partnership with Health and Human Services has never been stronger. They are leaning in on the law enforcement side to make sure that these kids who are coming still, who are in shelters, are being protected and not placed with traffickers, as had been done in the previous administration.
Here's some more. This was published 9 hours ago by Department of Homeland Security. It's no surprise that violent criminals flock to sanctuary cities where politicians like Governor Pritzker protect them. President Trump and Secretary Noem are restoring law and order across the nation to protect our homeland and save American lives. And they post this headline from the Washington Examiner: Chicago's murder toll exceeds Iraq war deaths. That's why they call it Chirac. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what law and order looks like in America. While D.C. politicians sue to keep their streets dangerous, real Americans are actually celebrating. 1,800 arrests, drug dealers off the streets, weapons seized, and yes, even corrupt FBI agents in handcuffs. The swamp said that Trump couldn't do it. They said the deep state was too powerful. They were wrong. Now Chicago's about to get the same treatment. ICE agents are locked and loaded. The National Guard stands ready. And all those sanctuary city protections, they're about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. The cartels thought they owned our cities. The gangs thought they were untouchable. Reality check incoming. So here's my question. Should sanctuary city mayors who obstruct ICE face federal prosecution? Drop a yes or a no. Let me know in the comments. Let's continue the conversation. And if you are ready to show where you stand, grab some American badass gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Real patriots wear their values with pride.